What is up, everybody? Happy Mother's Day. All of you moms that are listening, we're so glad that you exist, and we are so happy that you're alive, and we hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day today. And I hope you enjoy this episode. We have a special guest on talking about her favorite movies, and it was a lot of fun to talk with the boys about it and to kind of get their take on it and get their connective tissue, like connecting them and their experience to the movies that their mom likes. So lots of fun today. We hope you are excited as we are for this episode. We had a lot of fun creating it. Want to let you know again that you can find our podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else that podcasts are. Please like and share this episode with your friends, especially those of you that have friends with kids. We think it's very important for kids to hear kids discussing things like interpreting films and analyzing films, and not just being entertained by the movies and TV that we watch, but learning from it. And so that's what this podcast is about, and we hope that you will share that with them. And also follow us on Instagram at Movies That Make You. That's the best place to see what's coming up and see what we're watching, see what episodes we're dropping, and we've been doing somewhat consistent posts throughout the week with highlighting the movies that we're talking about that particular week. And so we hope that you'll follow us there as well. And then also you can check out any of the movies that we're watching and see all of our lists for the movies that make you cry, the movies that make you laugh, the movies that make you scream. All the lists are over at Letterboxd, and you can find us there at I Am Sprang. So without further ado, let's get to the podcast. All right, folks, we are back for another episode of the Movies That Make You podcast, and it's a special one, and we're releasing it on a special day because it's Mother's Day, and so we have a special guest today, and that is Kristen Sprang. Say hi.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and then the rest of us, we're going to announce who we are. I am Sprang, and I am the dad.
I'm Connor. I'm 14.
I'm Jacob, and I'm 13.
I'm Colton, and I'm 11.
I'm Ezekiel, and I'm 10.
There we go. So we got the whole crew here. This is the first time we've all been together on the podcast since we did the Martin Luther King episode when we did Selma. We watched that one. That Mom was on that one, but most of the time she just lets us do our talking. So before we get to Kristen's movies, what is one thing that you really like about Mom?
Like whenever she makes me food and gives me advice.
Very cool. What about you, Jacob?
We like the same type of music. Rap.
Yeah.
Rap.
Yes. Colton, what about you?
She's nice.
She's nice. All right. Zeke, what about you?
She gives me hugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's right. And I like her very much. One of the main reasons I like her is that she goes along with me to movies that she doesn't want to see because she loves me so much, which that's on brand for the podcast, babe. There's many other things. But so this is Mother's Day. Like I said before, we're releasing it one day early. And so we want to kind of spend some time talking about Kristen's favorite movies. We've all had a chance to do our top 5 Christmas movies. We've done Marvel movies. We've done DC movies. And now we're going to do Mom's movies. So we probably haven't seen a whole lot of these. But so if you have questions, that's when you want to raise your hand and ask. But if you have something to say, yeah, definitely let's just have a conversation. And she's going to share about the movies, what it means to her, all that stuff. And she does have them ranked. That was a question that was like seconds before we started recording, and she's already got them ranked. So very proud, very proud. All right. So anything you want to say before you jump into the list?
It was hard for me to come up with the top 5, and a lot of these, actually all of these, I saw before I was 18, except for one. I just realized that, which I was 20. So that goes to say, movies that you see when you're younger make big impressions on you.
Like if we were to do our top 5 right now, they would all be probably something close and recent. Whereas when you get older, it's those ones that are older that kind of grab you. So like for me, we've talked about Star Wars, but also those ones that I think of when I think of movies I watched as a kid. It's like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, those kind of things. So, all right, I'm excited to hear the list. Let's go. What's your number 5?
Okay, number 5, we've got Twister.
Twister. How many? Anybody seen Twister? No, nobody's
I
seen
think it
Twister.
came out in 1994, I believe. I remember seeing it in the theater with my mom and stepdad. And it was hilarious because my stepdad was like, oh, this is so unrealistic. But to me, as a 10-year-old, I was like, oh no, this can happen. And that led me to want to become a meteorologist until I found out how much math and science was involved. And then I kind of shifted priorities.
What's some details about it, Colton?
Well, it was made in 1996,
96.
and it would some of the actors are Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton, Carrie Elwes. It was directed by Jan D. Bont. That's cool. It's pretty Sigma, honestly. I swear.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just so something I'd never seen before. In growing up in North Texas, we're familiar with tornado sirens. It's something, we live close to Oklahoma. They get a ton of tornadoes. It's a fascination of mine. Just the fact that they were trying to do something scientific and get inside the tornado that nobody has seen before.
Yeah, for sure.
Do not get this confused with Twisters because that is the second part of Twister.
Yes, and it's coming out soon.
Yeah.
We all
So-
have to see Twister so that we can
Definitely.
see it together.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to be doing. What's funny is my list too. There are some movies that we're going to watch this year, and this is definitely one of yours that we're going to end up watching this year because The Twisters is coming out with Glenn Powell, and I can't remember the girl's name from Where the Crawdads Sing, but yeah, so that's going to be fun. The trailers for Twisters looks pretty crazy, right? What's one of the things that stands out about the Twisters trailer that you like?
There's a cowboy that's like kind of the main, well, not the main character, but he's like a popular, storm chaser in the area, and he looks pretty funny.
And so you guys have not seen Twister. We need to watch it for sure. I think
Yeah.
you would really like it, Jacob.
I've
Jacob's
got-
my weatherman too.
Yeah, I've got it on the schedule for us to watch it at some point this summer, so we can do the podcast about it. So be on the lookout for that one. That's gonna be good. The other one I think would be funny to do. The pair with that would be Geostorm with Gerard Butler because it's like Twister on steroids, and it's also kind of, it's not meant to be taken seriously, but it'd be kind of a fun pairing so that we have two movies to talk about in the podcast. But yeah, so that'd be fun. Anything that you've seen about Twisters, the trailer that you liked?
Like, I keep thinking, like, the car, there's not on all of them, but there's like a drill that drills into the ground so they don't fly away.
Yeah, I thought that was super crazy. That was super cool.
I also liked the bombs that came out of the car. That was like so crazy. They were attempting to destroy the tornado, which in my opinion I don't think is physically possible.
We'll see what they do.
I think they're trackers, like see the tornadoes form, I guess.
That's interesting. Definitely.
How does a tornado end?
I think it just stops.
Yeah, it just separates because it to create the top and the bottom, the twisting, and then they actually meet in the middle, and then it just kind of separates apart.
Yeah. So it's completely random to us. Scientists might know more, and I think that's what the trailer is trying to say. Like, hey, we've developed the science to try and stop this. So it doesn't exist yet, but maybe it could in the future. That'd be nice because it would save a lot of lives if we could stop Twisters for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Number 4.
Number 4, we have Silence of the Lambs. This is
What a good
definitely a
one.
rated R movie.
Yes.
I saw it when I was about 12.
Oh.
Little too young, but it was on TV and I did not see the full movie, but it was enough to intrigue me to want to eventually see it as an adult.
Yeah, Zeke, you actually brought that one up.
It was Hannibal Lecter, right, Kristen?
Yes.
And he was a cannibal.
Correct.
It was how I know that is that there was a YouTube Shorts on it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I actually have seen that movie 2 or 3 times, and I know that's one of the first movies we watched together when we started dating. Because I knew it was one of your favorites. I'm like, I'll watch it again. Let's do it. Because I mean, like the podcasts, like we do on the podcast, it's fun to share entertainment. It's fun to share movies with each other. We as parents share movies with the kids, and they share their movies with us. So that's something fun. What was the thing that fascinated you most about Silence of the Lambs?
It was so foreign to me. It that somebody could be that manipulative, but he seems so normal.
Hmm.
And to find out like how he works in his brain that way, just and also to see like why he does it, what
Yeah,
he does.
for sure. Give us some deets, Colton.
It was made in 1991, directed by Jonathan. Yeah. Some of the actors are Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins, and Scott Glenn. Pretty Sigma.
I think the thing for me, I like definitely diving into the psychology of this serial killer that's in jail. But I, of course, also like the detective work. You know, that always intrigued me too. Like cops trying to find the case, track the case down, and so things like Zodiac or Seven, which are actually both two David Fincher movies. But even the show we watched, Mindhunters, where it's like this kind of track, like interviewing these serial killers while there's a serial killer on the loose. It's like the cops trying to figure it all out, figure out their psyche is always so fun. Anything else stand out about it?
Just the quality of acting. I really like Anthony Hopkins. I think he's a solid actor, and Jodie Foster too. It was fun
Sure.
getting to watch her again. In what was that most recent?
Oh, the Night Country.
Night Country, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
awesome seeing her
With a
again.
similar, yeah, it was a similar, and she wasn't FBI, but she was a Alaskan cop. But she was still kind of trying to track down the case and trying to crack the safe and all that stuff. So who can tell me who Anthony Hopkins is? He's been in a Marvel movie before.
Was it Blue Beetle?
No, Blue Beetle is DC, but no, it was not. Anthony Hopkins. I'll give you a clue. It was
Do they need
Thor.
a picture?
It was a Thor movie. All right, he was Odin. He was Odin, which was Thor's dad. So in those 3 movies, he was it was 3 movies that he was in as Thor's dad, Odin. So there you go.
Odin.
Yep. Cool. Any other thoughts on? Do you guys like detective stories? Do you like solve mysteries and things like that? Anything come to mind?
Like true crime, I like watching that. It was a girl that went to jail, and then she met another girl, and they were gay. But then they got in like arguments, and then one killed the other.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool. What about you, Jacob?
Whenever I think of like mysteries, I think of the Batman, the new one that came out, because it was more detective-y than kind of action packed, like the Dark Knight was.
Yeah, for sure, and that's a great connection because honestly, the detective work in Silence of the Lambs is similar to the detective work in Batman. So, Zeke, Colton, you got anything else you want to say?
There's a detective show on ABC. Was it called Will Trent?
Hmm?
Yeah, it's Will Trent. I've seen the trailer for it. It looks really good.
Very cool. All right. For me, I think I know I've mentioned a little bit, but like the detective stories like that I think of as a kid, like Dick Tracy was one that came out. It was kind of like a film noir. And then I think one of the other ones that we watched was L.A. Confidential, which is like this kind of film noir, like that 1940s, Hollywood detectives trying to solve cases. And I think also like True Detective, the original is very much like that Silence of the Lambs vibe because there's some of that like just oddness of the person that's doing the killing and they're leaving these things around. So pretty cool.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Number 3.
Number 3, we have Now and Then. Now and Then was a movie that my best friend Jesse and I used to watch all the time. It's a coming of age movie set in the 90s. Well, it's actually current, which was in the 1990s, but when it was filmed and when they were younger, it was in 1970s, and just going back and forth. So they all come together. They had made a pact that if something happens as an adult and they would all be there for each other. So it's 4 girls. Then one of the girls is having a baby. Well, wait, moms. So then they start thinking about their past and how they got to be where they were today. It's just such a good movie. And then when we watched it a couple weeks ago, like I almost cried because it was just so much. It just took me back.
Yeah, it grabs the heartstrings when you rewatch something that you watched as a kid. Yeah, and I watched it. I thought it was really good. I mean, it reminded me of that kind of '90s, kid story like My Girl, things like that, where it's like we're gonna hear a kind of go on a journey, but we're riding our bikes and we're
Singing our
going
little
into
hearts out,
fords and yeah, going to the forest and all that stuff. So,
talking with random hitchhikers and trying to
hmm
find out their story. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
Uh, I have something to say about Up. It makes like as a kid, I never truly understood what happened at the start, but now I know that the man who sold balloons had a wife, and the wife died, and they both wanted to go to the a place they really wanted to go before they died, and he got really sad. He didn't want to go. It just didn't feel right without the wife. And it just really makes me emotional to see the loss of a loved one. It's just very, as an adult, you will actually get to understand how like the movie works, and you'll probably like shed some tears. And
like Kristen did when she watched that other movie.
mhm.
Cool. So when you guys think about movies that you watched when you were younger, what's one that jumps out that goes, that's like one of my favorite movies ever?
Box Trolls. I don't know. Did I watched that a lot? Didn't I?
Yeah, it was on Netflix for a little while, but yeah, it's a really good movie. What stands out about it?
I don't know. I remember cheese having something to do with it. I know it was stop motion.
Very cool. What about you, Colton?
Probably Up and Inside Out.
Okay. Yeah, those are two great movies and very emotional as well. What about you, Connor? What's a movie that when you were younger, it was just like you watched it over and over again?
I don't know.
I know the answer. Cars.
Cars.
Oh, Cars. I know Inside Out was one. I think that's it.
Yeah, so I think it's fun that it's Cars, and now you were like obsessed with cars, and you're like obsessed with Fast and Furious, and you like made a car out of your room. Yeah. So, see, it all goes back.
Yeah, definitely Minions. And basically just all of the Gru franchise. I still watch some to this day. It just gets me like in the feels, the nostalgia. We had a car. It was a really long time ago, but we had like TVs in the car that you put CDs into, and I rented Minions, and I just kept watching it over and over, even though it froze sometimes because the Wi-Fi wasn't that great. Um, I would just wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and it was just so worth it.
And I think that's another cool like foreshadowing because we're going to be doing Despicable Me series this
Yay.
summer as well because Despicable Me 4 is coming out. So we'll be watching some of those. I think that along with Fast and Furious are some of the movies that I'll watch on the weekdays, all that stuff. So very cool.
That's it.
Number two.
Number 2, we have Legends of the Fall.
Ooh.
This is a nice one. I think that the kids, I don't know, I feel like it might be too heady at the moment, but maybe not even heady, just kind of
It's just more,
adult.
yeah.
Um, but this was my stepdad's favorite movie, or one of his top favorites, and he let me watch it. I think I was 13, and I really just enjoyed the story of the setting. First, it's in mid 1800s, and then this family of these three brothers, but then there's a girl that's involved, and then their love triangle, and it's
Yeah.
just the tale of this family trying to survive.
Absolutely. Colton, give us some deets about Legends of the Fall.
It was made in 1994 and it was directed by Edward Zwick. And some of the actors are Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins again,
Oh,
and
man.
Aidan Quinn.
And it's Julia Ormond is the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So so that I don't know that I'd seen it
You hadn't.
until last year. I think sometime we ended up watching it. Yeah, it's more just a straight drama than it is like there's not a whole lot of action. There's not a whole lot of like suspense. It's just more just relational, like hearing kind of watching this family go through it.
Is this the one that a cowboy meets like a Indian girl or something.
Yeah. Did you see it?
I think. Remember, it was like late at night, and then it was our bedtime, but you let us keep watching it.
Oh.
And
No, I think that was Dances with Wolves.
Yes, that was
That's
Dances
just-
with
yeah.
Wolves. But same
Similar-
time frame, yeah.
Yeah, similar idea. It's just a drama. It's just a story. There's not any explosions. But I think that's one of those things where when you think about, we watched Selma, and that was a dramatic story, and it didn't have any of those extra things. Like, this is just one of those kind of stories, and it's a really well done movie.
Yeah.
And when I think of Legend of the Fall, I also like think of a movie called The Man from Snowy River that I grew up. That was the one I gravitated toward because that one had some cool horse riding and whip usage and for tracking horses and corralling horses and stuff like that. But I think Legend of the Fall, having Brad Pitt when he was a lot younger, Anthony Hopkins in it as a father, like it's just got some really top-notch
Got a lot of heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
What time period do you guys like to watch movies? Future, past, or present?
I think I like present because like it feels like more relatable. And although like there might be some like in Marvel, some of the technology is a little more advanced, it still feels like we're in like 2030 2020s. It feels very like real.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Zeke?
Definitely future.
What's a movie that you like that's in the future that makes you think that?
Definitely Star Wars. And yeah, it was.
But
It was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
that's the twist. That's the epic twist of Star Wars, is that it looks like it's futuristic, but it's actually in the past.
I have some questions about that.
What about you, Colton?
Definitely future.
What is it? What's an example?
Oh, what was it? There's this movie that we all watched, and then there's this guy. He I remember the end. He got like really fat, and then he went to the hospital. Oh, and it was like he got this I think it was like a watch or something, but it's he could speed up time and slow down time.
Oh, Click.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. That's fun. Yeah, because he got old and like didn't do any work because he fast forwarded through all of his workouts. Remember that? What about you, Connor?
Present.
What's an example of one that like makes you like want to stay here?
Gran Turismo. Actually, no. Past. Definitely past. Because Fast and Furious.
Yeah, it's like 10 years ago. Yes, that's cool. Very cool. For me, I think, man, it's tough. I like all movies, and so it's tough to kind of pick one. But I think one of the things that I've said before is sci-fi is a really fun genre, and most of those are set in the future. So I think I'd probably lean towards, if I only had to choose one, it might be the future.
Okay.
Here we get Kristen's top movie, her favorite movie of all time. Can we get a drum roll?
Da, da, da. Leia's like, what's going on? The Notebook.
I knew it. The Notebook. All right, you got to tell them The Notebook.
So The Notebook is a love story where it is also a time period piece. So guys, we're trending here. It's interesting. Set back in the 40s, but the way that the story is told is it's a man, he's an old man he's just reading the story to this lady, and they're in a nursing home, and we don't really know their relation and everything. Well, come to find out, it goes back, and he's telling this love story of how this couple met when they were 17 and just had this fabulous summer, and then World War II happened and he left and they had to split up, and all these fun little details. Come to find out, it's them. She has Alzheimer's and he's trying to make her remember. And so there's a glimpse or like a part where she does remember and she's in her current age, and it's just so sweet. Well, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, they both die at the same time. They die together. And it's just because she was like, if our love could do all those things, do you think our love could take us away together? And he says, yes, I think our love can do anything. So it's just the romantic in me.
Mm-hmm.
And Jonathan said it's not realistic, but I think it is. I 100% think it is.
I said it wasn't realistic in the conversation of you not liking certain movies because they were unrealistic.
And that makes total sense now. And there's times where I catch myself and I'm like, okay, it's just a movie. It's not all things are real.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it's a love story. I remember the first time I saw it was in the theater. I thought it was a really good love story. That's the author Nicholas Sparks, right?
Yes.
Guys, so Nicholas Sparks writes all these romantic novels, and most of them get made into movies. And so it's like this whole group of movies. They aren't in the same universe, unless you want to call it the Sparksiverse. But like, I would not put you guys through watching all of them, but there are a few that would be really, really good. And this one is one of them. Colton, you got some deets for us on The Notebook?
Still don't know what Deets is, but it was made in
Details.
2004 and it was directed by Nick Casserole or Cassavetes.
Casserole.
Some of the actors are Ryan Gosling, Rachel McDonald, and
McAdams.
Gina Rollins.
Connor.
You do a really good job of looking them up, buddy, and really good job of reading the names incorrectly. So,
High five, Colton.
so a couple of things. Ryan Gosling. What's a movie that we would have seen with the boys with no Ryan Gosling?
Fall Guy.
Fall Guy.
Absolutely. We just saw Fall Guy. Definitely recommend it. But yeah, Ryan Gosling was in Fall Guy. Rachel McAdams was in Doctor Strange as the girlfriend from Doctor Strange. So you guys have seen these folks in movies before. But yeah, and you've probably seen the memes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's like screaming Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want? Because she's in the rain and like shouting. And I'm sorry for those listening if that was too loud, but yeah, it's so funny.
Sup, girl? Or no, what is it? Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Yeah. Yes. So, okay. So now you guys got to think, because I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite love story that we've seen? Your favorite relationship? Doesn't have to be the whole love story, but maybe just your favorite relationship that you've seen in movies.
Beast Boy and Raven from Teen Titans Go.
All right. That works.
Funny.
What makes that one stand out?
I don't know. I just said it because I don't know.
You thought it'd be funny. What about you, Colton? What's your favorite relationship?
Probably Robin and Starfire.
Okay.
Stop.
to follow.
You have
follow along.
In these animated cartoons.
Connor says Cyborg and Jinx. I'm gonna freak out.
He's trying to look it up. Hey Zeke, what about you? What's your favorite relationship in a movie?
Do Connor.
I think the Gran Turismo one.
The what? Gran Turismo?
Yeah, Gran Turismo. That girl and him.
What makes it your favorite?
Because it's about cars and them. Yeah, I can't really think of any other love stories because I don't watch those stories.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious is a love story.
They got a love story in there.
Two of them
Oh, yeah.
in Fast and Furious. The other one that comes to mind for me is from, there's a bunch in Marvel, but like the one that stands out is Iron Man and Pepper Potts.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
We have not.
You haven't seen it, but yeah,
For you said you loved watching it.
I did. I was giving you all a reference of like a movie you guys seen a lot of, all the Iron Man movies and Avengers, and you've seen that relationship. So that's a really good relationship. But yes, for me, like, I don't know that it's my favorite because of what happens at the end, which we aren't spoiling. But
Did someone die?
We're not spoiling it.
I changed my mind. It was actually the dad from Young Sheldon and the mom.
Aw.
that's sweet. Yeah. You started watching Young Sheldon and you like it?
Yeah, he has the same middle name as me.
Lee. Nice. What about you, Zeke?
Kermit and Miss Piggy.
All right.
That's a
That
classic.
works. That works. It's a classic relationship. All right, Jacob, what's the real one? Love story.
Oh yeah.
Jody.
Yeah, Fall Guy or whatever his name is.
Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, but like the name of the
character.
character. Yeah, I don't know. Skeeter or something.
It was Colt, right?
Colt. Yes, because I kept thinking it was short for Colton.
Yeah, but I like yours.
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
And they fell in love real life, I think.
Yeah, Peter Parker and MJ. But yeah, Peter.
Michael
And,
Jordan.
yeah, Tom Holland
Zendaya.
and Zendaya for sure. Yeah. So anything else about The Notebook? I know we watched it a couple years ago, probably.
Yeah, and you teared up. You thought
Yeah.
it was sweet,
It is.
and
It's
I
definitely.
just is the bomb.
It is
So.
the bomb. We should
That-
definitely do a Nicholas Sparks marathon then.
Yes,
watch
I would
10,
be down for that.
10 Nicholas Sparks movies. Just kidding.
Pause.
I'm not gonna
Colton, chill.
not gonna force y'all into that, but I think there will come a day where you'll enjoy them because they do tell us things about ourselves when it comes to how relationships work.
Yes.
It gives us some. You should do that or you should not do that. Like that's. But and it's also it does it moves the heart.
Yep. So my favorite part of being a mom is loving all of you 4 boys.
Yes.
It's my favorite part.
Eat this.
I mean, I'm a dog mom too. I have a furry daughter, but I love being a boy mom. It is my favorite in the whole world. And I thank God for picking me to be a part of everybody's life.
Absolutely.
We're all girls.
I would have a different viewpoint. I'm thankful that I have all boys.
Yes. And to all the mothers listening, we hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day. Thanks so much. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Yeah, Mr. Krabs.
Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. We hope you enjoyed those conversations. It was really a lot of fun to ask the questions of the boys to help them relate to these movies, many of them that they hadn't seen before. So that was a lot of fun. We feel like that they had some good responses and trying to help them connect the dots on what love stories have we seen and what relationships do I like. I mean, that's a pretty abstract question for someone who's not looking for it, but as we got through it, we saw that they really did remember certain characters and certain relationships. So that was a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed that. I want to let you go, fill you in on what's upcoming in the podcast. The next 3 weeks, we're actually going to have 3 weeks with Kristen and myself, just doing parent editions, following talking, kind of gearing up for Furiosa. We're going to talk about Anya Taylor-Joy movies and Mad Max Fury Road. The week following that, we're going to be doing Speed 2 and Titanic because we're actually going to be taking a family cruise that weekend, and thought it would be funny to talk about a couple of movies where the big ships crash. The week following that, and gearing up for Bad Boys 4, we're going to be talking about Will Smith movies, and then the kids will be back on June 10th for discussion around Inside Out. A couple of the kids actually highlighted on this episode how Inside Out was one of their favorite movies, and so we're going to be talking about that in preparation for the release of Inside Out 2. So again, follow us on Instagram. It's the best place to see what we got upcoming, and we hope you enjoyed the podcast. So until next time, keep watching movies.